Here we're going to be taking a look at the account information section within a client file. The account information section is used for displaying useful types of information that pertains to the account file that you are in. So starting on the top left, we have our year, which just tells us we're in a 2019 file, and that can work with our business type. So these two together tell us that we're in a 2019 tax preparation file, also notated right here. We then have the account type, which tells us what type of account this is, and the account type can also fill in our due date field right here. And you can work on the setup of that by going to Admin, Account Types. This is where you can set that up. The difficulty tells us how difficult this client file is, and this can work with our time field. So if I set this to a 1 star, our time will actually be knocked down to just a half hour. And the setup of that is located again in Admin tab, looking at difficulty. For the referral, it just tracks how this client came to us for this account year. If you want to set up more referral types, you're going to want to go to Admin and then Referral Types. We have the account number. It's just an in-house way of giving a number to this account. Do not e-file is an indicator saying this client's not going to e-file this year. Click on that, it'll bring up a text box which you can add notes as to why. And final year is something that's new. It's just an indicator that this is the final year that we saw this client, and again, you can put any notes as to why in there. So in the middle here we have our user dropdown, just a way of saying what Atom user is working the most with this client file. For something like tax preparation, it's going to be the person who's typically doing the bulk of the tax return. For site, this tells us what site that this client goes to. Retention tells us how many years this client has been with us. When it's set to 1, it just means they've been with us for 1 year. You can also check that by looking at this right here. And then we have our reset office events, and this is used for if the account file was still new, and say you made a tax preparation file but really meant to make a bookkeeping file. You could use the reset office events function to reset those events and then create the add-on creation events for the business type that you meant to make. Over here on the right, we have the received by, which just tells us who made this client file. If it's set to an Atom user, it means that an Atom user went and added the new account file. If it's set to check-in self, it means that the client utilized the Atom self check-in screen to make this account file. And when that account file was made, is reflected in the receive date. The schedule type is just a indicator of what way that the client likes to schedule, and you can set that up by going to Admin and looking at scheduling types. And then we have our status dropdown, just a way of moving a client to a different status. Right now, Mike Tester's in the interview, and if you wanted to move him to tax preparation, you could do so by doing that and then clicking save, and that puts them then into tax preparation. And what's nice is that it closes out the previous event that they were in. We then have these 4 buttons down here. If you make any changes in these fields, you're going to want to hit save. Delete account will delete the account file, but in order for that to actually work, you will need to go and delete any office events, transaction items, tasks and notes, and also any account uploads. And once all those are gone, you could then delete the account. The add account year / business type will add a new account year or a new business type to this client. And this add account upload is something that's new, and it's just a quick way of adding a new account upload. We then have these 4 links, and the account uploads file is just a storage for the account uploads. And the account uploads are going to be any documents that pertain to the account file and business type that you're in. So in this case, it would just be the 2019 tax preparation documents. We have the account user roles, and this is a way to give commission roles to Atom users. You can select the user and the commission role, And if you want to set all that up, you can go to admin and you're going to look at account user roles. This is where you can set up your role and also your commission rate. Lastly, we have the log hours and the billable time. So if you want to log billable hours for this client, you can do so by clicking that, and it'll take you right to the punch clock, billable punch clock, and it will auto fill in this client, where you can then choose your billing task type, your billing rate, and also a description of what you're doing, and then punch in. And then once you have logged in some billable time for that client, you could check that billable time by clicking this right here, and it will display any billable time that you have for that client. So that is it on the account information section within a client file. I thank you for watching.